Okay, what's up again? How you doing? Welcome to the I Ain't Shit podcast. Oh, yeah, episode 3. Decided to do a little bit more of a prep on this one. Wanted to see change things up. And I think the topic of what I want to discuss today is pretty much what I'm trying to do currently, is constantly make improvements. The things that I'm going to be talking on this podcast are nothing going to be short that I deal with on a normal basis. I will always do exactly what I preach. I may not do it to the 100% T, but I do it. And yeah, so the idea for today is going to be improvements. Now, for a lot of people, this is people have the tendency to always want to do the improvements, but they don't necessarily know how to. Maybe if I break it down to this way, you can kind of place a physical finger on the idea of improvement. So let's try it out. If it works, cool. If it doesn't, cool. But I think the way that I have it set up is going to be may raise some eyebrows. Maybe a different way that you never thought about it before. So there's two versions of improvements. There is internal and then external. Internal improvements are a majority of the work that you do on the inside. So, for example, controlling your depression, controlling your anger, controlling how you feel on the inside, controlling anything that involves, obviously, the idea of internal. Now, here are some good references that you could think of. And in spite of this, if you're really into anime, just think of Naruto with the Nine-Tails Fox. Pretty much he didn't know how to control it, so it was killing him on the inside, which is exactly what happens when people don't control their emotions. And then another reference is a movie reference is the Hulk. Hulk needs to make the improvement of controlling his anger. It is something that's very difficult for him to control, so he has to constantly control it. Those are all internal issues that you have to deal with. Buddhists may consider this being in Zen or being enlightened. But all it is just internal improvement to the max. The pros is that it will directly affect everything that you do within your life. If you have control of your emotions, depression, anxiety, your life completely changes than it was from previously. Even the smallest changes you do. So, for example, if someone you know pisses you off, and you have the ability, my mom used to do this to me when I was a kid. She'll go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That right there is an improvement, because instead of lashing out, you're allowing you the time to just breathe, think, and hopefully get a different result, right? The cons is that you will mess up on the journey. You're not going to be 100% perfect, and it will take the most time and also the most willpower, because controlling wanting to punch somebody in the face, very difficult. I mean, we've all been there. Road rage, plain and simple. I don't have to explain. Everybody has faced it, everybody has dealt with it, but it is something that is difficult. I don't think anybody could really argue with me on that point. Yeah, so and then also another thing too is that there's not that many teachers to teach you how to control or improve on the internal. There's a lot of therapists. There's a lot of therapists that tell you, let's talk about your feelings, let's dissect it. But there's not that many people that actually tell you like step by step on how to deal with internal issues. Hopefully, I could be one of those people, but we'll see. For now, for external, the difficulties with external is going to require you to show up every single day. It's not going to be something that you could just push to the side and expect to improve on. It's not going to happen. The best way to describe it is going to the gym is a pretty good one. Learning a skill or trade, like you're going to have to first acknowledge that you suck, which is the most humbling thing ever, and then deal with the troubles of getting your butt handed to you every single day, and then showing up the next day to have it repeat until you start becoming nice, right? Oh, made the dust shake. Until you start becoming nice. The pros is that they're essentially tools that will improve your life. Any working out, literally affects everything you do. It is a tool, but the con is that it has to be upkept. You can't just push things to the side and then expect to be as strong as you were at 25 if you haven't lifted a weight until 45. Another good example is um, is any adult go on a bike. Go on a bike. See how bad you feel. See that little wobble that you do. It's going to happen. But examples of external difficulties or showing it is just watch any boxing montage. Yeah, it's pretty much all external skills that you could develop, but also you have to upkeep. Um, and despite age, you still have to upkeep them. That is also another thing too, is that time will kind of diminish your skills if you don't hold on to them. And yeah, so it was a very interesting take that I looked at it once I started writing it down, because this is kind of how I think of how to make my improvements, and then I also make priorities. Does making the improvement of point A, is that going to affect my life as doing improvement B that will directly affect my family, children, da da da. So you kind of have to outweigh what improvements that you want to focus on. That is also another thing. Too many people focus on too much of the details rather than the most important thing. 9 times out of 10, the most important thing is going to be something internal, whether it's your mindset, anxiety, pushing that negative voice down inside your head and allowing you to do you. Those tend to be the more difficult things. And the second difficult things are going to be all the external skills. And then the next thing after that is adding skills on top of that. And like anything else, it's just called stacking. So once you stack the improvements, you start to become a very different individual. And then how unique that stack is how much the world will value you. So if your stack is you're good with people, you're good with sales, and you're very charming, well then now I could put you in this position that pays you X amount of dollars, and let's see how you do. Yeah, how you stack your skills or your improvements plays a huge factor. But the thing that I would like to say is that these changes don't necessarily have to be instant. It can grow throughout time, and that time is truly dependent on you. It depends on how much workload can you have, how stressful is life. Those things do matter. But what I will say is that small changes, they matter more than the bigger ones. And especially if you change every single day, like small changes will completely turn you into a new person every 3 months. And that should be the goal. Like, why would you want to stay the same? Like, you should always want to keep on moving forward, because if you don't, then you stay stagnant, and then you kind of face the same problems every day. Nothing in your life changes, which is, in my opinion, the reason why a lot of people are sad nowadays. They just play their life on repeat and they hope for the best. And yeah, so like a good analogy that I could use for the improvements every day is, if I gave you a stock that increased in price by 0.5% every day, 65 days out of the year for the next 10 years, I'm pretty sure that's going to be a very valuable stock. You kind of have to view yourself that way. Are you a valuable stock, or are you a dud? And that choice is up to you. Now, the idea of balance is extremely important. If you have family, if you have children, you're gonna have to put your improvements to the side, or you're gonna have to make your improvements like your side hustle. When you add more people to your life, it does make things a lot more complicated. Now, adding those people to your life make those improvements worth it, because who else would you do it for if it's not for your family? But you don't have enough time to devote yourself to those type of changes because you have people to take care of. So the idea is balance, is figuring out what you can and cannot do, and then acting accordingly. And I guess the final thing that I would like to say for tonight is, when does it stop? And that is a very good question. It's really up to you, and like what position you're at in life. Like if you're comfortable at, let's just say making $80,000 a year, you're comfortable there. You don't want to go up, you don't want to go low, you want to stay there. All you have to do is upkeep your skills, and that can happen. But for the individuals that want more or want to do more or see themselves doing more, then the answer is it never stops. And that is where the balance part comes in handy, is because you become hyper focused on improvements and you don't realize that, you know, the first skill that you obtain, which is, let's just say, being liked, it starts to diminish because you have too many things in the shelves of the improvement shelf, I guess you could say. You have too many things to actually water each individual skill the way that it should be. So you do need to take breaks. You do need to understand that you are human and it's okay. But I guess that's where you can improve. uh, yeah, thank you for coming for today's episode. Like I said, I think I made it on time, 11 minutes and 10 seconds. And yeah, see you guys next episode. And I guess if you guys would want, leave comments so I could kind of know what you'd like to talk about next. Literally, my mind just goes. So, have a good one. Bye.